Hello, 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 everybody. I hope that you all are doing well on this wonderful Tip Tuesday. I pray that you all have had a peaceful night's rest. I know I did. I still went to bed kind of late. However, I'm getting there. I'm taking the proper actions. I'm learning to shut things down a little earlier. I mean, I say learning, but I know to do those things. I was just having a hard time with doing them, with having such a busy schedule and being on the go all the time. And sometimes, we have so much going on that we try to get everything done, and if we're not done, we're up all through the night until we can complete whatever task or objective that we had set out to do for the day. But I've told myself now in this season that whatever I don't get accomplished, I'm going to do everything that I can now. Don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. So I got a couple of tips for you today on Tuesday. Don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. However, if it is going into the late night and you're someone like myself who suffers from insomnia and you're up all times of the night, I used to love to make use of that time and try to still strive to get everything finished. But guess what? That stuff is still going to be there tomorrow. And I say that because I realize now that I'm suffering and dealing with it, that like I said, that stuff will be there tomorrow. I'm selling myself short by missing out on the adequate amount of sleep that I need. And then like today, or I'm feeling better today because I've done the steps that I was talking about. But like on other days, I'm sluggish, I'm tired. And I used to be able to do that. I stay up all night, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, have to get up at 6, 5, 6, 7 o'clock, and then I'm up bouncing, and I'm just like the Energizer Bunny. I'm hitting off to work, heading off to school, and then doing this and doing extracurricular activities. And then after so long, guys, that stuff catches up with you. It really does. And I think I'm at that point in my life now where it's caught up with me. So I am doing a better job at trying to prioritize my schedule and the things that I need to do, so that I can be ready to turn up and function for my family, my children, myself, my workplace, my church family, and everything. So I just want to encourage you on today to start prioritizing your schedule if you're not already doing so, and just taking the steps. Like for me, I have a bedtime set on my phone, so I'm shutting my phone off at that particular time, turning down the lights, I'm shutting down the TV. We're still working on that, but at least in your mind, it's baby steps for some people. You can't gradually jump into it sometimes, but it's baby steps as long as we're striving to do those things. The second tip Tuesday I have for you is, if you know that you cannot commit to somebody, and you put certain things out there, how you might be available, if you're not able to go, if you're not able to help, if you're not able to provide, please let that person know, and don't string somebody along, because that person might be counting on you for a response or looking for an answer. Maybe they need you to do something or provide them feedback with something. If you're not available, if whatever solution that you have for them, don't leave them hanging, because we have to think about it. Well, we want somebody to do that to us. So if somebody's waiting on you to commit to something or answer something, come over or give them a ride, or if they're asking to borrow money, you're like, wait. If you already know that you don't feel comfortable lending them money, if you already know that you're not going to be able to take them where they need to go, if you already know that you're not going to be able to babysit, or whatever the case may be, please let that person know. Have the courtesy, the respect enough to let them know instead of stringing people along. Same things with their feelings. If you know that you're not interested in somebody like that, relationship wise, and you don't want to lead somebody on. So just with all due respect, have enough respect and courtesy to let that person know that, hey, I like you as a friend, I enjoy what we have, but this is just not going to work in terms of relationship, or however you may choose to word it. But it's very important to do that. Be a man or a woman of your word, and just do what you say you're going to do, and mean what you say, and stand on that. Stand on business. Everybody say, oh, I'm an adult. Everybody be like, I'm out here, I don't have time to play games. I'm a grown woman, I'm a grown man. But we need to act accordingly, and we need to come off the being childish, stringing people along, or out here fronting like we have this and we have that, and we know what it is and how we really living. We're not out here trying to keep up with the Joneses and keep up with the neighbors. We're out here living for ourselves. And at the end of the day, this is not our home. And all the materialistic things that we have up here that we're flashing this and that, guys, we can't take that to heaven. It's good to enjoy that while we're here, but it's all materialistic. And once we leave this earth, we're not taking those things with us. So just do unto people as we would like them to do unto us, is our other tip Tuesday for today. There was something else that was, and I'm only saying this because these topics that came up in speaking with somebody, and I just felt the need to address it accordingly. So yeah, and if we're harboring feelings inside, we're carrying a heavy load, and sometimes that heavy load is a heavy burden that we're carrying. And sometimes if you're somebody like myself, you can't function when you're carrying that heavy weight, whether it's a secret, whether it's something someone did wrong, or whether it, like I said, maybe someone's waiting on you to answer and deep down inside you don't want to do it. So lift those heavy burdens on today, guys, and just have these adult conversations with people. Don't keep things bothered in, because sometimes those things can weigh you down and it can be so stressful. And you'll find that once you release all that and let it go and talk about it, you'll feel a lot better inside. You will. You really will. So that's all I really have for this moment. I look forward to connecting with you guys later in a wonderful word of devotion later this evening. But again, I just want to encourage you on today. Be a blessing unto somebody else. Make that phone call. Check in on your family and your friends. Check in on your coworkers. Make sure they're okay. You never know what someone's going through mentally. I'll tell you real quick. I ordered me some breakfast this morning. It was hard for me to get up out of bed. But I was like, maybe if I get out the house and go push myself, I'll come back. Because really, I'm on leave right now. And I'm waiting to be cleared to go back to work. And so really, I want to try to catch up on all the sleep and rest I can get. Because I know that once I go back to work, I'm going to have to give it like 150%. And I'm going to have to be locked in. So I'm trying to want to sleep in my bed, especially while I have no kids here. But I said, I'm going to go out and get me some breakfast and come back and lay down, rest, and then do some cleaning, do some schoolwork, study, and some more devotion. But when I went out and ordered my food, now I wouldn't expect Chick-fil-A to mess up. But Chick-fil-A messed up on my order. The first go round, they gave me the Sprite was flat. And so I was like, no, I need my Sprite this morning. So I went back and got the Sprite. Then when I went home, because I'm never anticipating Chick-fil-A to mess up, I went all the way home and I noticed that I didn't get what I ordered. So I could have easily went back up there. I could have had an attitude. I could have, however I would have reacted. Look, I waited in that line such and such. One thing, my drink was messed up. Now you messed up on my food. I could have called them and said, I could have and did whatever. But instead, I redirected my thoughts and I simply called up there and let them know that this was the second mistake that happened in the same experience, and that my order was wrong. What can we do to rectify this situation? And I didn't want to come back out because I was already home. So I could have easily gave them that attitude, being upset, because I was upset. But then you never know if that person's trying to match that same energy that I gave them. You never know what they're going through. And and you have to also think about, what if you were that person, you made a mistake. Now, somebody coming from retail and fast food experience, I was taught by a wonderful GM manager, Miss Nancy, if she's ever watching, and she taught me of the importance of those things and reading the screen and following through, and even if there's a mistake, how you handle customers. So I don't accept those. I have zero tolerance for those type of things. However, at the end of the day, we all are human. We do make mistakes. We are not perfect. We are not Jesus. So instead, I just redirected my thoughts, because I know that I too was once in that place, and people do make mistakes. And I just simply asked them, hey, I was like, look, my order's messed up. What can we do? How can y'all accommodate me in rectifying this order? I'm not trying to come back out today. I could take a picture and let you know that this is indeed the wrong order. And they were able to assist me, and they satisfactorily took care of my needs and told me what they can do to accommodate me in the future for the next thing. Now, it's not going to help the right now, but at least I have a peace of mind that when I go back, that it's going to be taken care of. And I know that can be frustrating, because there's been plenty of times when I've ordered food and then they mess up on my order, and you're hungry, your mouth was watering, and you had a taste for that particular food. I know it's very frustrating, but we have to put our eyes in the mindset, on a God-like mindset. Like, what would Jesus do? Is this acceptable? Is this behavior acceptable and appeasing to God? And when I want to lash out and react, that's the first thing that comes to mind. And it redirects my thoughts. And I have to recoup and think about how I want to handle the situation. And realize, too, that I once was in that place also. And, and I handled it accordingly. They accommodated me accordingly. So let's just be mindful how we talk to people, how we go about situations. Oh, and another quick one. My kid's bus was an hour and 4 minutes late today. That's very unacceptable for me, because I like to make sure that my kids are off and on the school bus before I go to work. That way I know that they're not stranded outside. Once I'm at work, I'm not able to leave and come back and come and get them. So I understand today's the second day of school. It's a big transition. Everybody, you know, things are they have to iron out the kinks and everything like that. However, it was very frustrating. Fortunately, I was home. So we just do what we can do in the now to fix the situation. But guess what? Somebody wasn't home. Somebody's kids' parents had to be at work. So just imagine the frustrations that they have. But we also have to understand that it is the beginning of the year. There's still a few kinks and stuff that they have to iron out. So you bring it to the school's attention, that's what I plan on doing. Because if it was me bringing my kids an hour and something late, they'd be like on me about attendance issues, and you know what comes after that, opening up avid channels for other things. But it's the school. My kids missed an hour and 4 minutes of instructional time, which were very critical, you know, to their education. And so I'm just going to make address this to the school this afternoon. But I want to say that just again, when we conduct ourselves, we have to conduct ourselves accordingly and not act like a donkey, point blank. And though it might be frustrating and it might be an inconvenience, we just have to understand, because what if you were on the other side of the map? What if you were indeed the driver? And, you know, you had these issues. And I learned today that our driver has 3 different routes, you know, and so we have to be, and at the end of the day, it's not even the driver. So instantly we want to blame the driver. Hey, you were an hour and such late. When ultimately it wasn't the driver's fault, because he or she is only doing what his job was, what the school or his boss told him to do. There's nothing he can do to alter that. He has to follow his rules on what was told to him. And we have to be mindful of those situations as well. So just be an advocate for yourself. Don't settle for less. Be an advocate for yourself. But at the same time, let's just address ourselves accordingly, like the adults that we are, or like the young adults that we are, and handle it and address things like we have some sense. Let's not act our shoe size, you know. Let's not act childish out here and give people a reason to talk about us. So those are my, I think, 2 or 3 or 4 tips I have for today. Being mindful in how we speak to people, treat others like we want them to treat us, and just showing people the same respect, and check in on your people. Encourage somebody today. Lift them up. Pay for another person's meal if you have the opportunity in the drive-thru and you can afford it. You know, be a blessing. Pass the blessings on. You might be that second car and somebody's in front of you and they might pay for your meal one day. You know, and I'm not saying everything has to be monetary, you know. Just be a blessing. Just tell somebody, God bless you. Thank somebody for what they do. Children, kids, thank your bus driver for getting you to that school safely. Thank a teacher. You know, thank your coworkers for helping to do their part so that your job can move smoothly. You know, so let's just be positive in all that we do. When we have a problem or an issue or a concern and we're ready to lash out at people, let's just remember, what would Jesus do? What if somebody matched that energy that we're giving, that energy that you're ready to give to somebody? What if somebody was doing that to your mother, your aunt, your sister, your brother, your father? So let's just be mindful on the things that we say, okay? And let's just walk in the light of the Lord. God bless you. I love you, but God loves you more. And again, I look forward to connecting with you in a word of devotion a little bit later today. Like, comment, share, subscribe. See you guys, and have a wonderful day.